Welcome to the Average Gamer here, aka Tag. Well, you might be it, but I'm him. Welcome to Fighter Breakdown, where we break down a fighter's stats, traits, and abilities, and also classify them into three tiers based on ratings. Tier 1 is gonna consist of 87 and up. Be from Dante Wilder right up to Ali. Tier 2 is gonna be from 86 to 84. That's gonna be from Bo down to Tommy Morrison. And tier 3 is gonna be anything below a 84. This episode we're gonna be focusing on the greatest himself, Muhammad Ali, standing at 6'3" with a 77-inch reach. That puts him right in the middle of having a reach advantage over a lot or close, and only having a disadvantage to the giants in this game like Tyson Fury, Larry Holmes, Deontay Wilder, etc. Here we get into his stats now. He has excellent stats with a 90 above in everything, with strength being his lowest stat at a 90, which is still excellent. And when we dig down deeper into his stats, we see that his punches, every one of his punches put in work. They all have excellent stats. His lowest being the uppercut, which even though it says at 87, his uppercuts tend to knock people out a lot. Power punching isn't his forte as it's at 84, but countering is his forte at a 93, and his movement speed gonna give you a lot of countering abilities. Also, he has excellent defense with his 97 cut resistance and 90 above in everything. His courage at a 97 is gonna make him hard to put on the canvas. Here we get into his traits: float like a butterfly 2, increase slip speed by 12%, reduce dodge speed by 5%. Now, even though you're reducing his speed already is so high that you can see that it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But that increased slip speed by 12% is going to make his slips very quick, and it's going to open a lot of counter windows. Sting like a B3 increases damage thrown on counter punches by 20%, reduces the chance to inflict a flash knockdown when throwing a counter punch by 5%. So that increased damage on counter punches with his already 93, I believe it was, in counter punching, deadly off of the counter. But it does reduce your chances of getting them in a flash by 5%. Now, Granite Chin reduces chance of receiving a flash knockdown by 25%, increases damage received to Blackhead by 5%. This works hand in hand with excellent defense. Ali is a hard person to put on the ground. Now, the only time you're ever going to see anything with that passive is like when you're racked and they're trying to break your block. That's the only time that reduce um, damage received to block, increased damage received to block comes into play. Now, straight shooter 2 increases the accuracy of all thrown jabs and straights by 15%. Pretty self-explanatory. His jabs and his straights are gonna be accurate, on point, and they're gonna hurt. But it reduces the accuracy of all hooks and uppercuts by 5%. Sometimes this comes into play. You might miss some shots, but it doesn't really come into play that much. And here we have the stats of the greatest. And now we're going to get into some gameplay and see what he's made of. No, this isn't a mirror match. I'm going up against my younger self from 1964, who's statistically superior to me in every way. But let's use our strengths and traits that we went over to get us a W and see if we can get out of this. Off top, you see his movement speed. No, he's not in loose footwork movement. That is just his natural movement, floating like that. Ali 64, I actually consider him to be in his own class, like a S tier. Him and maybe a few other fighters in their divisions, such as Roy Jones in middleweight. But for now, let's see what we can do. You see that slip, how quick it was with Ali. Right now, my opponent is trying to lean back to counter me, but we're not gonna give him those.
careful for that receipt. It's always coming.
He's just so fast, even his younger self can't keep up.
Good counter punch.
But notice I'm more sticking to jabs and straights, but he also has a 90 hook.
If there's anyone
Even
that
though
can
his
get him in
traits, see what I
trouble,
told you
it's
about those
Muhammad Ali.
uppercuts? He has an 87 uppercut, but for some reason his uppercuts always seem to be the ones that put
I
people on the
don't
ground. And
believe
what
what
you're
we're
seeing
seeing
here
here.
Got caught slipping
is
on the
Ali's
ground.
health.
What do? You step back, steady yourself,
Like he didn't
and
have his block
compose
up, but
yourself.
he was taking a lot of punches in that state
Do not
and
be
managed
so
to stay on his feet.
frustrated.
He's a
Stay
hard guy to
focused.
put on the canvas.
Despite what the judges' scorecards read, there are no losers in this one. Let's talk about
Those
Ali in that
uppercuts
last
are
round. Pretty dominant
dangerous.
round there. Let's see how they respond. And there's the bell for round two. That round was complete domination. Let's see if we can shake things up here in this round.
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
Those backstepping punches, when timed right, make your opponent. If you see your opponent always swings after you throw, they're good for getting
Straight
counter
right,
windows
just
such as
misses.
that. Like if I had gone in with a body punch, it would have been a counter like that.
Nice counter punch right up the middle. Incredible
You know,
firepower
one way
from
you can
both
open
of
up
these
your opponent,
heavyweights.
or just as simply moving
Spotting
your
in
own moving
clean.
speed, not using a step back, but
Well
just
done with that
slightly
counter
back it
shot.
up out of range when you think your opponent's gonna throw.
There's a counter shot. We've seen this fighter in the past go 12 rounds and not have a mark on their face. That's what
Ow.
happens when you stick and move. You hit and you don't get hit.
Todd, this is what it's all about. Hit and don't get hit. Jab, move, pop, slip. Use your footwork. Drive your opponent crazy.
Tough to be a judge in this fight as both fighters have had their big moments.
Perfectly matched. Skill for skill. Tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that
Just
notch
pick your
above him.
shots.
And so I've got to respect
Don't try to
him.
overthrow
More than happy.
because he's throwing. Whew, got
The
him.
counter lands. Back and forth they go.
Ooh, went for that power jab.
They both want a highlight reel knockout.
Off that combination, it
Very
was
close
coming out
round.
slow.
10 seconds to
And
go.
he caught me and made me pay for it.
Let's talk about Ali in that last round. Well, we know they've got the advantage so far. Here we go in round three. Who's going to land the first big shot? Well, Johnny, can he keep the momentum going after that last huge round for him?
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands
Clocked his
down.
body just now.
And he wasn't ready for that counter punch. When are we going to see a jab from these two? Every time they drop their guard, they get caught. Has to be careful for that receipt. It's always coming.
Caught me. See that hook? He threw out how fast it comes out. It's almost like a whip. That speed, that Ali 64 speed.
Straight out of
It's
the gate
almost
goes a right
cartoonish in
hand.
this game. Look at the speed of his jabs. That's how we gotta be careful.
Pretty close fight here in this round.
Skill for skill, tap for tap. Just like a match made in heaven.
Straight right just misses. Punch, counter punch. They hit like heavyweights, but they move like middleweights. Truly elite level stuff here.
Todd, you know what?
Got him.
Sometimes when I go to the ring with
Ooh,
fights like that,
how did that
punch
slip
the
through?
next one. Well, you want that spaceship to come and lift you out of there because you think,
No,
what the hell am
no.
I gonna do now?
Got him.
Counter shot.
That's that slip
Very
speed.
competitive round with 10 seconds left.
I personally use more side steps, rolls, and other movement, but those slips, if you can get good at
Plenty
those
of
slips,
Ali in that last
they
round.
create a lot of
Not
counter
sure
windows.
who the
And
judges
with
ranked
slips,
the bell for
most of the
outside.
time you're in range that you can hit them with
See if
a
they can build
combination
on
after,
momentum
and
here.
not just like one
Todd,
or two
my motto
punches.
is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything
As
works.
you saw
Wait for the
in the
reaction.
last time.
Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
That uppercut just missed. Swing and a miss with that left hook. Nice counter shot. You've got someone with the hand speed that this fighter possesses. How do you deal with it?
Having so much speed, what happens to your opponent is you get cut to ribbons, and that's where the referee has to jump in and stop the fight. And you know this is going to happen.
That
So you
jab hurt
rush
him.
your work. You think, I've got to get him inside close round.
These two are the perfect dance partners.
They're so close, so close. How can you separate them? It's going to be a hard night tonight for the judges.
Nice counter.
You can see my opponent baiting me in, trying something.
Just missing with the right uppercut.
You can tell he's frustrated. You see those swings, he's tired. He's been missing too much.
Couldn't land that jab. Just misses with the right uppercut. You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one.
He's trying to uppercut me.
Ali in that last round. Talk about a
I
one-sided
ain't letting him
on
though.
to
I
the
know what
fifth
those
we go.
uppercuts do.
After a really
He's trying to
strong
catch one.
round, let's see if they can finish the job.
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change
See?
it? An excellent
He's
last round,
uppercutting a lot.
everything works. Wait for the
He
reaction.
is really
Until then,
trying to
keep
get
doing
me
what
out
you've
of
just
there.
been doing because you've won that hands down.
But if you're gonna throw the uppercut, it's best to throw it, with some other punches, or if you know it's a counter, like don't just lead as your first
See
punch
what
with it.
happens in this fighter. They don't get concerned when they lose some of the earlier rounds because they know they've got that power that can strike at. Did you see that? The greatest has been dazed. Muhammad Ali. Oh no! Ali is
And
down.
down he
Let's
goes.
see that again.
I've got to see that again.
One, two, three, four, five, six,
As
seven,
you see right here, this is
eight,
more my opponent just quit.
nine,
He just
10.
let the mini game run out. But I respect that a lot more than actually quitting and not letting me get my KO or trying to quick glitch. So respect to him, man.
It happened. You
He
saw
was
it
able to
here
conquer a
live.
younger
A
self.
knockout
See,
win.
Slimmer got more abs than me,
Accuracy, power, punch
but we was able to
perfect.
do it
That must hurt.
just by playing to our fighter strengths. Yep, we got all the rounds, and as you can see, my opponent didn't throw a lot of jabs, and he just threw a lot of uppercuts. So he was working against what's supposed to work for him. So try him out. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.